So I was taking a bubble bath the other day, and I thought about something that was really funny to me. The fact that gay men have women as their wallpapers and straight men have men as their wallpapers. Then I hopped on Twitter, and after gooning for a little bit, I saw two things that caught my eye. One was a bunch of Swifties getting their address leaked because they said that Taylor Swift is bigger than Messi and Ronaldo, and Chapel Roan getting gang-impressed by the entire population of Brazil after she was rude to Jorginho's daughter. Now, all of this got me thinking, who's actually more famous, footballers or pop stars? Now, because I make a lot of football content and personally don't see the value in paying my entire college fund to go to a Taylor Swift concert that is going to be held in the same stadium that Spurs are going to get relegated in, you might think that I'm going to say footballers are more popular and call it a day, right? But no, guys, I have done way too much research for this video for it to be that straightforward. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to compare football players and pop stars in different categories, and we are going to keep score every step of the way. There are no biases here or opinions, just cold hard facts. So if you're a Billie Eilish fan and you get mad at me because I said that Anthony is pound for pound more popular than she is, or if you're a football fan and you get mad at me for saying that more people around the world care about Jennifer Lopez than they do about Bukayo Saka, well then you are free to come to my house and fight me. If you want to know where I live, just go on Google and look for Pedro Neto's address. And when you get there, just fight the first person that you see. Bruh, it is your boy, the Streets Champ, Tubby World, party time, excellent. And let's get on to the video. Now, it's time to look at the most shallow metric that we're going to be seeing today, social media followers. And for this section, we're going to be focusing strictly on Instagram. Because whether you hate reels of pregnant LeBron James or not, Instagram is the best barometer for modern day fame. Simply put, the most followed accounts on TikTok are white girls that do the worst dance that you're ever going to see in your life. Twitter nowadays is basically the Third Reich. And if you even bothered to create a Facebook account in 2026 and set your age to anything that isn't after 1976, the app will instantly close because they're gonna assume that you are lying. So let's look at the top 5 most followed footballers in the world on Instagram. And let's look at the top 5 most followed pop stars in the world on Instagram. The top 5 most followed footballers right now are Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, and I just want to say this. I thought that the most followed account on Instagram was Ronaldo, but it turns out he's just the most followed person. The most followed account on Instagram is Instagram's account, which one, honestly, if you follow Instagram on Instagram, I'm just gonna assume that you're a bot. And secondly, this is like Jude Bellingham being the most followed person on the JB5 app, his own app. Okay, let's compare the kickball merchants to the auto-tune merchants. These are the top 5 most followed pop stars on earth. Selena Gomez. Now, look, y'all, I like Wizards of Waverly Place, but I was shocked to find out that out of all the pop stars on earth, she is the #1 most followed. And she's a billionaire? Yo, she might actually be a wizard. Followed by Ariana Grande, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and Jennifer Lopez. Now, if you put both of their followers into an average, then you'll see that the top 5 footballers, on average, have more followers than the top 5 pop stars. So when it comes to the top percentile of footballers, they are bigger than the top percentile of pop stars. Now, I'm gonna say something that is gonna piss off a lot of football fans. I hate to break it to you guys, but footballers as a whole, that's what this video is about, does not simply equate to just Ronaldo and Messi. Like, yes, everybody on earth is aware that these two are so famous that they could probably invade a small island with their fans. But this video is not Messi and Ronaldo versus the world like they're Randy Orton and John Cena against the entire Raw roster. No, it's footballers in general versus pop stars in general. I have to mention this because whenever people are talking about how big footballers are, they always just focus on Ronaldo and Messi. Like, yes, they can be included, but I want to talk about footballers as a whole. So now that that's out the way, out of the top 50 followed accounts on Instagram, only 5 of them are footballers. Still worth noting that #1 and #2 are Messi and Ronaldo. Screw you, Instagram. And out of the top 50 most followed people, 12 of them are pop stars. Now, as much as I want to cope and say that footballers are limited in growing on Instagram because all they post is happy pics after a win, sad pics after they drop a stinker, training pics, and photo dumps accompanied by a random Gunna song, and pop stars are more suited to Instagram because they are just simply better to look at. And don't get mad at me for saying that, okay? I know you guys too would rather look at Tyler's fine ass than look at frickin' Frank Ribery. But on average, I would have to say that social media does favor pop stars, so I'm gonna have to give the first point to the pop stars. Don't worry, football fans. The word around the dressing room is remontada. We're gonna close the roof at Santiago Bernabeu, and we're gonna see if there is a comeback in the next category. Footballers and pop stars all perform in front of big crowds. For example, Liverpool players get the pleasure of playing in front of a packed crowd of scruffy, obese Scouse men whose only clothes consist of a baseball cap and a 2005 Steven Gerrard top. And Taylor Swift gets to perform in front of prepubescent girls who think they're getting the one-up on their ex by FaceTiming them when she's performing We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. Now, I know football fans are excited by this category because this one feels like an open goal, but unfortunately, the person taking the shot is Fernando Torres.
Gonna score again. Oh my word!
Yeah, this might be another point to the pop stars. Now guys, look, I get it. Football stadiums are packed pretty much every single weekend. And there's only about, what, 15, maybe 20 pop stars that can go around the world and do a stadium tour right now. But remember guys, we are not comparing pop stars to football clubs. We are comparing them to football players. And when fans are attending football games, they are going for the club, not just one individual player. So we gotta give pop stars some credit because they are selling out an entire stadium just by themselves. Now, there are footballers that can or have filled out a stadium for when they signed for a club, but again, that's preserved for the top % of footballers like Messi and Ronaldo. And that makes the score 2-0. I can feel the anger right now as I'm making this video. I know there's a bunch of football fans right now demanding VAR, and they're outside my house chanting, "We want Toby out," said "We want Toby out."
We want Conte out, say we want Conte out.
But unfortunately, guys, the score is 2-0. So let's see how footballers are gonna do in the next category. That is right, guys. It is now time to see who makes better music between the two. I'm joking. I'm joking. And even if I was serious, I would have given the point to the footballers. I mean, credit to Adele for making a song like Skyfall, but I don't think she can make a song like 5 Million Follower Freestyle by Memphis Depay.
5 mil, I'm talking follows. The new deal's gonna follow up.
Now, it is really hard to narrow down things that footballers and pop stars do. You know, besides sleeping with people that are much older than them. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to you, Billie Eilish, and your 31-year-old boyfriend, and you, Wayne Rooney, when you were sleeping with grannies? But something footballers and pop stars do have in common is selling t-shirts or merchandise. And as a lifelong Shawn Michaels fan, I have to take this moment to say, hands off the merchandise. Now, something that is very ironic is that pop stars don't make much money from their music. That is right. Petro Neto makes more in a week than Soulja Boy made from Kiss Me Through the Phone. Most of the money that they make is from tours and merchandise. And let's just say, pop stars are raking in that money. They make millions a year in merchandise. But everybody knows that the football kit industry is a powerhouse. People love to have their favorite footballers on their back, like Kylian Mbappe, Lamine Yamal, and the greatest Brazilian player of all time, Masturbinho. Now, pop stars merchandise brings in tens of millions a year, and football merchandise only brings in about 6 to 8 million a year. So I am gonna have to give the point to pop stars. Whoa. I read that very wrong. Okay, football kits do not bring in 6 to 8 million a year. They bring in 6 to 8 billion a year. Dude, that is 1/3 of what the entire music industry made in 2025. And you know what's even funny about this number? I would say about 60% of people that wear football kits are wearing fakes. Imagine how much the football kit industry would be making if everybody bought authentic kits. Which, let's not do that, okay? I prefer my Chelsea kits coming from a random guy on the street in Johannesburg. Also, it's just risky in general having a footballer's name on your back because they could end up leaving your team. Or if you're buying a woman's player's kits, you better hope they don't get married and change their last name. But ladies and gentlemen, footballers have pulled one back. The score is officially 2-1. Okay guys, it's halftime. We're taking a quick break. While you're here, if you are enjoying the video, then please, I encourage you to please like the video and comment down who you're honoring your like to. And you know what? We usually do footballers, but I want you guys to comment down your favorite pop star who you're honoring your like to. And no, you're not allowed to say any guys. No, I don't want Justin Bieber. I don't want Michael Jackson. I don't want Ed Sheeran. No. Comment down your favorite woman's pop star. I'm honoring my like to the queen of longevity. She was making hits when I was a kid. She's still making hits to this day. I'm giving it to Lady Gaga. The girl next Every industry has what I would call the big night. It is the culmination of their hard work over the last year. For actors, it's the Oscars, and for future failed child actors, it's the Kids' Choice Awards. And for perverted billionaires, it's an invite to a Diddy party. Oh my word, guys, I just opened the mail and I won a Diddy! Now, football has multiple occasions like this, namely the World Cup final, the Champions League final, or even the Ballon d'Or ceremony. I think the biggest night for pop stars would probably be the Grammys. Now, despite the growing popularity in pop stars, the Grammys, like Grade A Under A, have been dropping in viewership every single year since 2016. You could literally invite the biggest pop stars in the world right now, and people still aren't gonna tune in. It is sad, but whereas the awards that I mentioned before pertaining to footballers have increased in viewership every single year. And this has nothing to do with the top percentile of footballers, because guys like Messi and Ronaldo, they left Europe years ago. And yet European matches viewership has still been going up. Now, another huge night for pop stars that could be considered is the Super Bowl. And this is where pop stars will get more exposure than ever, and their streams usually spike up by like 100%. And hey, they even get to piss off dudes that like to drink beer, drive their truck, and kiss their cousin. But we've all seen that tired ass Super Bowl World Cup graphic, and yes, we all know that Super Bowl cannot keep up with the big nights in football. So yes, guys, the score is officially Desmond 2-2. Oi, Chelsea, you pricks, can you come back when you're 2-0 down too? Now, influence is when you can inspire people to be just like you. Now, when you see kids nowadays, are they trying to be like Lamine Yamal? Kids, do not try to be like Lamine Yamal. That man is still the Catalan quagmire. Or are they trying to sing like Olivia Rodrigo? Guys, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I do believe that footballers are more influential than pop stars. But that isn't down to fame or money or any of those kind of metrics. It's down to the fact that football simply has an easier entry level than being a pop star. Now, I know people are going to have differing opinions. They're going to say, actually, it's harder to become a top-level football player than it is to become a top-level pop star. I understand that. But when I say that football is an easier entry level, I simply mean that with football, it doesn't matter what height you are, it doesn't matter how chopped you are, it doesn't matter how rich or how poor you are. Football is a meritocracy. And that simply means, unlike most other industries in football, if you are the best, you are gonna get the best contracts and you are gonna win the biggest awards. That is not the case for pop whatsoever. You could be the biggest pop star on earth. That doesn't mean that you're the best singer or the best songwriter or the best dancer. Hell, being the biggest pop star can be heavily dependent on who you know, what you look like, and sometimes who you're related to. I mean, just think about it, man. When you're a kid, it doesn't matter how big or tall or whatever you are, you can play football. But in order to be a quote-unquote pop star, you have to be able to sing. Not everybody can sing. Because of all of these factors, it means that people are always going to sway towards football. And that is why I believe that footballers get the point here, because they are more influential. The score is 3-2, and it is now time for the final category. Is football going to take the win, or is pop going to even it out? For this final category, we are going to look at average career spans for pop stars and football players. I do believe that however long your career lasts is going to affect how people talk about you throughout history. And I know some people can make a big impact in a short time. I mean, the Beatles was only a thing for like, what, 9, maybe 10 years? And we still talk about those 4 from Liverpool to this day. But having a longer career definitely does help. So the question is this: who has a longer career? Football players or pop stars? Now, according to Music 3-Point, 75% of pop stars only have a lifetime on the charts for less than a year. Only 12% make it to 3 years, 4% make it to 5 years, and a little less than 1% of pop stars ever make it to the 20-year territory mark, with guys like Elton John and Michael Jackson. This is insane, but it also makes sense when you remember how many pop stars are like one-hit wonders. So yeah, on average, a pop star's career usually only lasts 1 year. Whereas with footballers, it will typically last about 8 to 12 years, with them debuting either in their teens or their early 20s, and usually dropping off and retiring in their early to maybe late 30s. And of course, now with the improvements in medical science, footballers' careers can last much longer. Okay, guys, we've spoken about so many points. We did our research. It is now time to look at the results. Now, the pop star started off with a great early lead, 2-0 up, but the footballers pulled it back. And now, after 90 minutes, the score is footballers 4, pop stars 2. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Esteban Willian is bigger than Sabrina Carpenter. Now, guys, I just quickly want to say this. When I was making this video, because of how I view the world, I thought this was going to be a slam dunk. I thought it was obviously going to be footballers. But after the research I've done in this video, I've realized that it really is not that straightforward. A lot of the time when we focus on the stuff that we like, we ignore a massive part of the world. We become ignorant to other people's lives. For example, a Swiftie might be very dismissive of football because they don't know anybody personally that watches football or care for it. Whereas footballers will act like pop stars are just auto-tune singing robots, but they are legit selling out 80,000 capacity stadiums each weekend. The point is this, it is not as clear-cut as we think. These people are all remarkably talented, they work hard, and all they want to do is entertain us. So I have the utmost respect for everybody that I've spoken about today. But now, guys, I want to end this video on one more question. Now, we know that Ronaldo and Messi are pretty much bigger than everybody, but I thought, why don't we compare them to the biggest pop star ever? So, guys, who do we think? And you know what? Let me not say Ronaldo and Messi. I'll go with you pick whoever you believe is bigger, Messi or Ronaldo. Is up to you. Who do you think is bigger? The biggest footballer of all time or the biggest pop star of all time? Michael Jackson. Sound off in the comments and tell me, guys, what you think. It has been your boy, the Streets Champ, and I've just given you the gift of Toby World. Drink it in, man.
Hit that sub button fast, quick. If you don't, you're gonna get your ass kicked. Cause the journey's looking magic. Subscribe, like it up, hype it up, hat trick. We want 100K, no pain. World gangs on fire, no cane. I think your girl rang. You tell me, Toby, I wanna join World Gang.